Hi everyone, welcome to the third episode in Book Talk with Nika series. Today's topic is listening to self-help and personal development on Storytel. And today's guest is Kashvi Parekh from Kashvi Reads. And I'm very happy that you're here. We've been friends for a year, I think, on Bookstagram, and I'm really happy that we got this chance to do this Zoom call and talk about something that you are very passionate about and something that I personally want to learn about. And I'm sure the audience will benefit a lot. So let me tell you all a bit about Kashvi. Kashvi is currently a business student who is based in Mumbai. She is also a book reviewer and content creator on Kashvi Reads. We'll include the links down below so that you can check out her social media platforms wherever she's present. She's also into social media marketing. She's a freelance writer and graphic designer for projects for different brands and business persons. She is currently, which is very surprising and really wonderful to hear when I first, found out about it. She's a Discord moderator in Gary Vaynerchuk's server, which has more than 140,000 members. So that's a really big deal, Kashvi. Welcome to our chat show today.
Thank you, Nika. I'm so happy to be here. I'm pumped to talk about self-help. This is something I'm really passionate about, and I'm grateful that you reached out to me for this.
Yeah, and thank you for saying yes to this.
Of course, it's a no-brainer for me because I love your account and I love what you're doing with this series,
Thank
and
you so much.
I'm glad I'm here and that we're shooting this.
Right. So then, without further ado, let's dive right on into the video, and
Let's
we
do
get
it.
to talk. And you get to talk about something that you love very much, and I'm going to learn a lot today. Right, so as you can all see from the title of this video, today's video is going to be about the benefits of listening to self-help and personal development books on Storytel audiobooks. And without further rambling, let's get right onto the video. And I'm first going to ask Kashvi, how has your audio experience been with audiobooks?
My experience so far has been pretty great. I don't have much to complain about. I really like listening to fiction as well as nonfiction audiobooks. Nonfiction, I haven't explored as much as I would like to, but I'm very open to diving deeper into that side of audiobooks. But when I listen to fiction audiobooks, it's like I'm being transported to this whole new world.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's true.
yeah, with audiobooks, I think the best part is that you can listen to them on the go. I
Right.
can be like, especially during the lockdown where there was so many chores to do,
And you
vessels
can't
and
just
like,
order books, because there are so
yeah,
many
yeah. So,
restrictions and
so
all.
the exactly. So the best thing is that you can just plug your earphones in and start listening to it, and so you're essentially just multitasking in a way that isn't unproductive, right? Because
Yeah,
you're still focusing on the book as well. And meanwhile, you're still getting shit done with your days.
that's
So
very
that's
true.
what I love about audiobooks.
Yeah. And I think with audiobooks you get a very personal experience because it's like, and to be very honest, and not necessarily just self-help books, you read a lot of books that are non-fiction and not self-help. Sometimes you can read about mental health, sexual health, all of that, which some people would generally look down upon, frown upon, that you're listening to this kind of book, blah blah blah. We know how some people in our environment, whether they are just friends or family or relatives, how it is. And I think as such it gives you a very personal experience. But on that note, here is something that I would like to ask you to address in this video. That is, when it comes to non-fiction or self-help, there are a lot of people who look down on it, as in self-help
Mhm.
is not worth it, it's boring, and all of that. So why is there this looking down on this genre, self-help, personal development, according to you?
Right. So from what I've heard from, I know quite a few people in our community itself that look down upon self-help books. Now, in my opinion, this is a very narrow-minded view because you're sort of not acknowledging the privilege that you've had growing up.
Mm-hmm.
One of the many reasons why people turn to self-help books is maybe because they didn't have a figure in their life that could guide them to the right path, and they're so seeking that from another source of knowledge, which is self-help for them. So I feel like that is one factor that many people don't take into account.
Absolutely, that's a very
Another,
insightful view. Actually, I never thought about it like that.
yeah, no, I thought about this because someone in the DMs had reached out to me and said that, I think they were talking about The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, and they were saying that I lost my mother very early on, but reading self-help books and like more about manifestation, not just The Secret, a couple of other books, the conversation was around manifestation. So when they
Okay.
started reading about all this, it sort of gave their life direction. But I would like to highlight this very much here. It was because they implemented what was written in those books. Now, when
That's the
someone
most
talks
important
about,
thing.
yeah, this is something I would really want to highlight, because when the self-help haters say that a lot of people are out there just binge reading without implementing, I agree with that part. I do think that these books are giving you advice, but it doesn't end there. It is actionable advice. It only works if you actually execute on it,
Right.
which is why I think that there is a lot of stigma around the genre, because these people read the books and they don't actually end up doing what the book is asking you to do. Now, of course, every book is not a one size fits all solution.
That's true.
So the first self-help book you read is not going to be the best fit for you. It doesn't happen. It happens only to very few people who are lucky.
Yeah. Not
So
even in fiction. You won't
yeah,
like the book,
exactly.
first book you pick up.
Exactly. So that's why sometimes if a person reads a self-help book and it doesn't work for them, they'll just banish the entire genre and, say the things that
Mhm.
you said about it. But again, experimentation has to come into the picture so that, you can explore the different types of self-help books there are. There's fitness, there's mental health, there's just so much in
Right.
this one genre.
Because I would say your development has to be all around, and it's not just your physical development, it has to be mental, emotional, all of that. So yeah, there are very
Absolutely.
different books that address all of that. I personally think that to be very honest, I am a person who prefers fiction over non-fiction. But
Right.
recently, and well, the reason is, there are many times when I have checked out certain non-fiction books which did not appeal to me. And since I was pretty young when I checked them out, I had this mentality, I did not like this, I'm sure I'm not going to like any of the rest.
Mhm.
Because the thing is, firstly, I was too young. I think there is also a age limit there should be when it comes to non-fiction, because otherwise if you're too young, certain things you can't relate to, and certain things you can't
Hmm.
implement. And so, I was like, this is too preachy, too rambly, too boring. And that was the reason why I did
Yeah.
not pick up non-fiction for many years. But
Hmm.
in recent times, actually, there have been books that I have started to read. Recently, actually, I listened to a couple of audiobooks in Storytel, both of which were very new to me, because in the sense that, they were summaries of really popular I would say, nonfiction self-help books. For instance, there was this summary on atomic habits, which I'm sure everybody has heard about. Whether they've read it or not, that's an entirely different matter. But it's become a really really popular book, on everywhere. So I found
Yeah.
the summary audiobook on Storytel and I listened to it. And since it's a summary, obviously it contains the gist of everything. So I personally found that very very helpful. And there's one thing that really struck my mind, and I still remember it. James Clear said something along the lines that, when we think about disciplined people, we think they have a lot of control and all of that, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, they know how to cut off the temptations from their life.
Yes.
Which,
Yeah.
which I was like, wow, eureka moment. And I was like,
Same.
it's a very profound thing. And when somebody reads that, they'll understand how to be self-disciplined, and
Absolutely.
something that a person can obviously implement very well. For instance, if you
Yeah.
use your phone too much while studying, keep it away, keep it in your parents bedroom, and I assure you they'll scold you if you go to take it out. So yeah,
Exactly.
some things I found very very helpful in the summary audiobooks that I found. um, and I'm really hoping to next pick up the summary audiobook on Deep Work by Cal Newport. So have you read it, Deep Work?
Yeah. I think that you have excellent choices, because both of these are sort of my go-to recommendations when someone asks me about the self-help genre. What you said about atomic habits, I literally made an entire carousel about that. It's
Yes, I
called
think you
the
did.
yeah, the secret to self-help, and there were like 4 to 5 tips on how you can change your environmental design
Right.
to encourage good habits, which is such a simple concept when
Yeah,
you think about it and so easy to implement. And it's
that's
really
exactly
good
the
that
thing.
they highlight it in the book summaries so that you can keep revisiting these ideas and they stay fresh in your head.
Right.
Coming to deep work, yes, I have read it. It took me a while to get through that one. Like, because it was kind of slow. Like the first half was the writer just trying to convince you that there's this thing called deep work that exists and it's important for you to implement it into your life. So the first half of the book was just that. And then the second half was more technical. It had all the rules, the 4 rules of deep work, which I have struggled to implement. But when I do implement it, it makes all of the difference in the quality of the output whenever you're trying to be productive.
Right. I'm really looking forward to re-listening to the Atomic Habits summary book, and then also I'll obviously pick up Deep Work next. So speaking
Yeah.
of to be read books, what are the next audiobooks in your list? Which are the next self-help or personal development audiobooks that you hope to listen next?
Right. So I came across this book called The Happiness Project, which it
Yeah,
had
I've
like a
seen it.
really cute cover and I've heard good things about it on Bookstagram as well. So that's one that I'm looking forward to. And there's Positive Thinking Every Day and Mindfulness. These three I think are sort of on top of the self-help thing. And apart from that, I think there are some pretty stellar recommendations on Storytel that I will go through
Yeah.
after this conversation as well.
Yeah, I'll be sure to link every book that we're talking about down below. So do check them out. And those are very great. I'll add mindfulness to my list, and I think I'll also check out the Happiness Project, because I think I've seen the book you're talking about, and the cover is like
Mhm.
sort of like comic book, but it looks really fun.
Yeah, it looked really cute.
Right.
It had like a blue.
Yeah, blue. Yeah, I would. Yeah. I can recall exactly what you're saying. Um,
Yeah.
So the question that I've been hoping to ask you, and I am going to take note of what you're going to say. What are some of the best lessons that you have learned from reading all of the books in this genre?
All right. That's like a big one, but
I have
a
my
lot of
pen
it
and paper
comes
ready.
a lot of it comes down to just pure. There are like a lot of qualities that I can sort of list, but firstly, I want to talk about self control. When we spoke about atomic habits and deep work, there are a ton of other self help books out there which highlight self control, like how this is one of the key elements of helping yourself. Because when you obtain complete control over your life, that's like the best feeling ever, because then nothing externally can sort of, you know,
Upset you.
upset you or disarm you in any way. And it just 10x's your mindset in a way that you start approaching everything with a more optimistic outlook. Now, notice here how I didn't say the word positive, because
Mhm.
the word positivity has recently had a lot of stigma attached to it, like, with the whole toxic positivity and shit. So that's what these books sort of at least the right self-help books
Right.
won't teach you about toxic positivity. They will teach you about practical optimism, which I believe deep work does brilliantly. So that's another thing. Apart from self-control, it's also practical optimism. Thirdly, I would say learning about overcoming failure. Now, honestly, as someone who grew up, not facing much failure or anything like that, I was never afraid of failure. I never have been. But like last year, a time sort of came where I messed up a little bit. And seeking these books sort of helped me realize that, it's just an obstacle along the way. It's not something that's going to disrupt things in my life completely. And
Right.
that I thought it was a really big thing in comparison to what it actually was.
Mhm.
So I think just understanding the concept of failure and the role that it plays in my life is one of the things that self help has helped me understand. More than it, I can't even pin down one book for this. It's just a combination of everything that I've read under this genre. So I
Right.
guess it comes down to these.
And these are very, very helpful. And along these lines, there's something that I'm not sure if I'm entirely correct in this regard, but it's something that I've been thinking about recently. How there's such a big difference between, being happy and being content. In recent times,
Hmm.
because of this toxic positivity that that you just addressed, everybody's like try to be happy, but being happy is not the default expression of humans. I think it's more so content. Being happy and being sad
Right.
are two extremes, I would say, of the scale. So I think with toxic positivity, that's the thing that comes up. Trying to be positive all the time without addressing all the different issues that have cropped up in the world. So yeah, that's something that I've
Exactly.
been thinking about recently. But yeah, so
Yeah.
before we end this video, there are a few things I would like to address to you and all the people who are watching this video about my experience with Storytel recently. As I've just said, as we've just talked about, there are some amazing self-help and non-fiction books on Storytel which you can definitely check out, and we'll be sure to link all of them down below. I'm going to pester Kashvi after this video is done to give me a list of books that I can suggest to you all. And and there are so many different benefits to listening to audiobooks, which Kashvi even addressed in the beginning. You can do everything else while listening to the audiobooks, and I think the best thing that I've been doing is actually folding clothes while listening to the audiobook, because it's such a
Yes.
monotonous chore. So it's been really, really
I get
helpful.
it. Hmm.
And when
For
it comes
sure.
to stats, checking out statistics, I'm a person who is really, um, motivated when I see good statistics. So Storytel has
Right.
these different section where you can check out the statistics, how many books you've read, how many hours you've read, which days of the week you tend to read more. I generally read during the week, and on the weekends I generally take a rest. And then what time of the day you read, if you like to read it early in the morning or if you're a night owl, all of that. So the genres
Hmm.
that you read most, what grade you give each book, like heartwarming. There are different ways you can grade books. The story
That
audiobook
is
on
so
Storytel.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that is
predictable,
interesting.
unpredictable. There's heartbreaking, heartwarming, so it's really fun,
Wow.
I would say. So
That's very interesting.
I'll also make sure to include a Storytel link down below, using which you can get a 90 days usage period for just rupees 375, which is a great deal. 375 rupees for 3 months is, I think, a great deal for everyone. And yeah, it's been an amazing time talking to you about all of these. And would you like to say something before we end?
Yeah, just that remember that although the self-help genre has a lot of stigma around it, there is still value to be derived. If you pick the right books, if you experiment with an open mind, there is a lot of the there is a lot of cool stuff that you can genuinely learn from this genre and actually implement into your own life. Also, that deal sounds really good because 375 is the price of like a normal book on Amazon. And
Exactly.
here, if it covers 3 months of your entire audiobook experience, I think it's pretty great. And I'm going to check it out myself when you upload this.
Please do. And I'm saying this based on personal experience. I've also used the other, audiobook listening company by Amazon. And
Okay,
unlike there, there you have to pay the subscription fee and then you have to buy each audiobook, which again,
audiobook,
you're
yeah.
gonna spend a lot of money. But on Storytel, you just spend this 375 for 3 months. There are of course other, variations, like pay this amount for 1 year subscription, all of that. And then all of the books there are free, and there are literally lakhs and lakhs of books on there. And I've been reading a ton of books, and my reading has like gone up the roof because of using Storytel. I've read like 53 books in April, and in March, sorry, in
Wow,
May. Yeah, I mean, I life
that's a
record.
lot.
That's a lot. I did
Yeah.
not expect it. And there have
Mhm.
been some amazing, like whatever genre you want to find, Indian literature, Indian short stories, books in Malayalam, books in even Hindi, in even my mother tongue, Assamese. There are a ton of options and choices. So I think it's really,
Amazing.
really good. Based on really personal experience, I would definitely recommend you check it out. And after
I
we're
will.
done, we can definitely compare our bookshelves and see what books we've got, and share
Done.
recommendations with each other. So yeah,
I'm super excited. And also, I'm going to start working on that list of self help books for you now. And if anyone else watching this also wants recommendations, feel free to DM
absolutely.
me. Yeah,
And
I
also
would love
leave
to talk.
your personal recommendations down in the comment box, because we'll both go back to them and check out the books which we personally haven't read, and we'll definitely give them a review. And if there's something that are, right up our alley, we'll definitely read them. So yeah, we've reached the end of this video. Thank you so much, Kashvi, for agreeing to be on this platform here with me. I had a lot of fun talking to you face to face, after knowing you
Yeah,
for
me
1
too.
year. And
This was so fun. Thank you for having me.
and thank you everyone for your patience, your support for this whole chat show series. And let me know if you what you liked, what we can improve in the next episodes and all of that. And once again, thank you so much, Kashvi, for being with us today. Thank you everyone for watching. Take care and bye.
Bye, everyone. See ya.